Right. Inzwaika. Tadzoka. Tadzoka nenyaya dzinonakidza. Kune vaya vese vaya vari kufarira zvinhu zvisina nebasa rese. Especially nyaya iyi yaComrade Nyokayemabhunhu. Okay? Comrade Nyokayemabhunhu is fine. I'm going to repeat this again. Ndati Comrade Nyokayemabhunhu is very fine. Comrade Nyokayemabhunhu is doing well protected where he is. Now, aisiro nyaya ndawira panapa nhasi. Inini ndauya kuti ndizotaura zvinhu zvinoenderana nezvinhu zviri kuitika munyika medu. The struggle continues, the struggle goes on. Guys, isusu tripa stay away. Manzwaka. As the general population yeZimbabwe, kana uchigara muZimbabwe, you are on stay away. Murukunzwaka. Hakuna kuti urikuenda kubasa because zvakazodi. You are on stay away. The reason being that, number one, we have a president that technically doesn't understand kuti chinonzi running a country for or on behalf of a group of people vanenge vari munyika imomo. Takutaura ka gentlemen. Let me say this to you. Takutaura pa fair. Number one sign inokuratidza kuti the country is being run backwards, and why I am constantly asking kuti President ED must resign is the fact that you have people, very few people working in Zimbabwe with a taxable income, okay? Taxable income. And you've got the vast majority of people working, as they are working, there is no social benefit from the state, but the country affords to spend billions of dollars buying useless things for people, right? Marino piwa vanhu vakaita sana Chivayo vachinotengera vanhu mota. I've got a suggestion for this government isingafunge ine vanhu vanoswera vachimwa whisky mumaoffice. Ndakabostaura izvi. Ndikati inini parliament yamavaka idai maisa drug detection devices pamador. Kuti vanhu vaya vanopinda vaya vanenge vachipinda member of parliament vachipinda mu office vachipinda mu parliament, they can be detected by these devices dzinodetecta kuti munhu akasvuta madrugs here kana kuti akamwadoro here, ari kuya kuparliament akamwadoro here.
Vana veZimbabwe zvakataurwa navageza ndizvo.
The reason is because some of these performance criteria
pamwe vanenge vakatengwa nemari vaida kuzokanganisa, but tinoziva kuti zvinowanikwa. Moses chaiye achinda kuKenani aitonetsa nevaaifamba navo, saka zvinotonetsa. Vachaifungidzira kuti ndo vataifamba navo tasingazivi kuti vatengesi vakapuwa mari vakati apo vakuti inini ndindakapuwa mari ndikati ngandikatengesa zvisipo. Inini Comrade Nyokayemabhunhu ndotaura navo everyday. Comrade Nyokayemabhunhu varipo ndotaura izvezvi ndatobva kutaura navo. Handizivi kuti zvo vari kuzowana kutaura vanhu ini zvotondinetsa mumwoyo mangu. Tomutsana mangwana vana veZimbabwe. Ndauya ndangokuudzani zvokuti bharista Jojo mutengesi kambakwa hamusambobvira mambotomboteerera vanhu vakutongotsvaga kamari. Musamupa mari hama dzaComrade Nyokayemabhunhu kazaakuda mari yerubetsero tichakuudzai isusu. Tichakuudzai kwete kuti kambakwa achitaura svina anotaura.
It's very tricky to tell people that working hard and being part of your team means that you also are in the field with them. People don't understand that. This is the problem that has led Zimbabwe to the point where it is. In it, I'm going to call for the same things. as long as we have a government that is there, it must listen to our concerns. And our concerns stands as follows. For example, okay, we've got 90% or 95, if not 95% of the general population of Zimbabwe being unemployed. Number two, as we watch these individuals being unemployed, there's no benefit from the government. There's no benefit at all. Apana benefit yekuti vanhu ava vari unemployed. Vane wana help here from the government. There's no social benefit in terms of South Africa, Botswana, Namibia, overseas, Britain, Australia, America, all these other countries. People are offered family tax credits. These are benefits for everyone that goes to work, that actually has to get a tax back. Instead, yekuti mutore mari dzevanhu muchipana chivhaya vaka nekutora mari dzevanhu muchidya muchiita sei, and you still want people to be more confused whether they should vote you into power. You should be in a position to give back to the people, give back to the community what they've worked for. You need my social services. Anota kuti vanhu vanenge vari vulnerable, they should actually be going into hospitals and getting treated for free. It's not just people building these hospitals. Chunchakanaka chakanaka. I heard that Scott Sakupanya, that is built a hospital where maternity, it's a maternity hospital and for treatment and stuff like that. Chakanaka, it's a good thing. And people are getting treated for free. The government should be in a position to supply and provide these services for its citizens. This is why Lindichi Kola on President ED is very old school. Okay? Very old school. All these old individuals, they go to these beautiful, nice countries, right? They come out here, but they don't learn anything. They just like to see my buildings, nekwenda kununua doro, nekuzati bhawa rakanaka riri kupi, ndeipi drink iri kuno inonaka. That's all these big guys think about. Instead of learning how things are done, instead of learning what other countries do towards their citizens. And tikutaura about things zvakaita sekuprovide ma-social benefits. Be caring for the community that you lead. Be caring for your citizens, where you go to extent of providing zvinhu zviri crucial like health system. How do you describe, or how do you honestly explain a country? How do you honestly explain a country that is standing on its knees, but you've got a person, a business person that walks around with the president and says, Mari atinayo ukaona wana mari ukaona wana mota zakuti iri kubva kuZANU PF. Handitika takamanzwa mashoko antauro naWicknell. Adaroka anoendera mberi achiti imari yemusangano, saka kana takupa mari unofanira kusapota musangano. Ndakaiuploada video yoyo paprofile pangu. Now, there is no explanation to someone saying these kind of things. When you say these kind of things, you want people to be happy. And yet, when people go to the hospitals, there is no medication. When people go to the hospitals, there is no beds. When people go to the hospitals, there is nothing there apart from just going to meet up with the nurses that actually are now becoming clueless about what they should do next. Right? Well, here is my idea. Kana pana vanokwanisa kundiudzirawo Mnangagwa. Please, vaudze kuti hanzi drone commander. Handiti mune madhiri amuinawo nemaChinese. Because hamusi kuda kuburitsa mari. Chivapai kama minerals vakupe mubhedha muse mumahospital. Chivapai minerals amuinawo iwayo amuri kumaina. Mongoita 1 month yekusacrifice so that amupuwe mari. Mupiwe from China mbed yekuisa mahospital. PY from China equipment yekuisa mahospitals. PY from China mcheka nemachira nemashits ekuisa mahospitals. Instead yekuti mupuwe mari just 1 month for this community inonzi Zimbabwe. That's all we are asking. At the end of the day, trikutaura isusu kuti dzimwe nguva there are people that don't have a clue on what to do or how to run a country or how to be part of a community that focuses on success. We have a tendency vanhu vanoita come into government to enrich themselves for that period of time and don't deliver anything and leave, walk out of the door. And yet when people like myself, people like Comrade Nyokayemabhunhu, when people start talking, you want to arrest them. Well, let me refer to that issue. You see, people that don't know what international law is, they become very happy. Ndaona kama ka profile ke ZANU-PF so. Akona ZANU-PF yando supporta inini. Inini ndo supporta ZANU-PF yana sekuru wangu ini. ZANU-PF yana sekuru wangu used to care for people. It used to love everyone in the community. It used to supply everything. Until kwazoya ZANU-PF yembava. This is where we are clashing. Now people don't know the difference. ZANU-PF yando supporta inini. Ino supporta Nelson Chamisa. Ino supporta to understand that Nelson Chamisa munu ane party anema ideas ake anoshanda. And if we have got a difference, that ZANU-PF gives room to work with somebody else who's got better ideas. Those ZANU and those supporta inini. Iwo inoita zvekuraya vanhu nekuinda kuno abducta vanhu across the border and exert their whatever masimbawo across into another jurisdiction. That's very illegal. So I'm going to mention this to you guys. Apana msiyano zaitwa Comrade Nyokayemabhunhu. Azvina msiyano nekuti if one of these big members of the government travel abroad, then people make them disappear. And no one should question that. Apana msiyano, zvavaita izvozvizvika. Apana msiyano kuti vanhu vachazoitawo zvavanoita. Ndo zvachina zvinonzi when you cross the borders, know about what you've done across the border. You know, ndo saka ndichitaura kuti chitiudziraiwo kava Mnangagwa vacho. Kana shoni wacho uyo akutora vanhu, achitsakatikisa vanhu. Chimuudzaiwo kuti alright, zvawane mari yakawandisa, chenda ka unotora uronge nemaChina, vape minerals, utore upiwo mbedha, transport mabhedha abve kuChina uko, auye tise mahospital. Vape mineral, vape land yacho maChinese, tiwane hedu pekurarira muzvipatara kana vanhu vakurwara. That's all I'm saying. At this point, I'm going to say to you guys, the struggle continues. Comrade Geza said, we are all on shutdown. This place called Zimbabwe, it's a country for us. It's a country for all of us. It's not for a selected few. It's not for a selected few individuals. Ndosa kandrikuti, guys, we are going to stand as one. We are going to stand and work as one. Zimbabwe, Nyokayemazimbabwe, Zimbabwe ndiye munhu wese. We are going to fight this war. We are going to deliver. That is the main thing. We fight, we deliver. We don't fight and give up. We fight and we deliver. Saka izvi zvekutyityidzira vanhu nekuti you know, some Zimbabwe state agencies zazoenda ku South Africa dzakupretenda kuita ndio Interpol. Interpol doesn't operate like that. Interpol does not arrest people for sofas. Wakabona international police ichiringa masofa tanzi ningotora masofa ibasa national police role. All that nonsense angaichitwa, that's not Interpol. Interpol issues inonzi red alert if they're looking for someone and they put it on international website. And then munotsvaga Nyokayemabhunhu hapo. You know, we know what to do when these things come like this. We know who to contact. Nyokayemabhunhu has never vakamusunga vakamutora vakamuadapta havaisi Interpol. Chitsotsi chega chaitwa apa. Manzwa musaterera zvimwe zvinhu zvinotaurwa nevanhu vachida kuchichidzira vanhu. And number two, kuna chinhu chinonzi international law. Vai vari kufara kuti Nyokayemabhunhu acho achizoita answerable. Guys, just be happy that you almost got him. That's all you can say. We almost got him. Full stop. Is he saying the wrong thing? That's the question I have. No, he's not. Is he fighting for the general human being? Munhu ari pasi zvake arida kubudirira muupenyu? Yes. Vanhu havana chikafu mudzimba. Vanhu machemba matoilet akatsemuka, vanhu vari kugeza mashawa musisina kana chunhu. You know, ndakauya kuZimbabwe neapa ari kuti vanhu ndandisiko. I could not find anywhere to step mushawa endanga ndiri but muhotel. You know, I asked myself, kuti, what is this seriously? You live in a place like that, you get used to it, and people just watch things deteriorate and still call on pamberine zanu, pamberine msangano, pamberine chi, muchita pamberine zanu, pamberine msangano. Remind each other to be hard workers. Whilst you raise the fist like this, remind each other to work hard for yourselves. Not kungoshedzera msangano so that uende kumbaona $100. I've said this before in another video. I've said this. We have gone to ways or extents that we don't understand. That government yedu basa rayo nderei. The government is there to ensure that everyone has got adequate food. He has got adequate housing. He has got adequate anything they want. As long as that government exists, it is their responsibility to ensure that the ordinary and basic man has got food. Where is that responsibility lying on right now? The citizens are having to work for themselves, to feed themselves, to suffer for themselves. Instead, what do these guys do? They go around buying Rolls Royce times 10. You know, my Bentley times 20, munu 1. My Mercedes Benz times 20, munu 1. My Benz kuita kumwaya kuwana sinani basarese. People that don't give us anything in the economy, right? And guess what? To make matters worse, you have very, very, very stupid business people in Zimbabwe that think that keeping cash in their houses is the solution to make sure that they keep their money. And yet they don't realize they are crashing the economy. If you want everyone to survive, you don't keep money in your houses. You keep money in the banking system. And that same amount of money, 800 million, ingade circulate mu community, and everyone getting a chance to use the same dollar. Everyone, so that you don't have recession continuously. Chinonzi recession, chinokonzerwa nekushaya manotsi iwaya. That is what happens. Inini, I am a person that wants to be fair. Izvi zvekuti hanzi munhu unotorwa nevanhu vasina nebasa rese hazvina nebasa rese izvo. Zvekuti hanzi kune ma-CIO anotora vanhu kune hazvina kana nebasa rese. Mu-CIO ane vana vake, ane mukadzi wake, ane vabereki vake, ane vanin'ina vake. I always say this. Any human being, when cut, they bleed. Okay? And you know, one thing, Jansina basa nacho, anyone who is a human being, when they are cut, they bleed. The president bleeds if he's cut. Sean ano bleeder, akachekwa. Anyone, chero Nyokayemabhunhu mukamcheka, ano bleeder. Okay? So, why am I saying this? I'm saying this because we should be respectful to each other and not taking advantage of each other. Vanhu vakawanda vazive muZimbabwe kuti 1980 to 1992 kune yainzi welfare yekuti anambuya nevanhu vanga vasingashandi vaibhadharwa mari pamwedzi nepamwedzi kuti vakwanise kutenga chikafu, vakwanise kuisa petrol, vakwanise kuita zvese zvavanoita muupenyu. From 1993, this thing chinonzi welfare disappeared, and that money was being used somewhere else. Maria was for the upkeep of the general public. This welfare exists everywhere, in every country around the world. I want vanhu vese to be at a point where they start to ask this government questions. Musachichidzirwe mani nemazita evanhu. Musachichidzirwe kunzi uyu anonzi Mnangagwa, uyu anonzi anonzani? Uyu mudara utyisa vanhu uyu wokumbotiza akaenda kuDubai. Musachichidzirwe like that. Manzwaka. Ask these men and women why the whole of the country is not getting paid monthly welfare amounts. Vanhu vese vasiri kushanda should be on unemployment benefit in Zimbabwe. Ask the government why imimi mayouth eZANU-PF mchingomanya asa mubhadharwe chunhu. Dai manga muchibhadharwa these unemployment benefit musingambomanyi kuti pamberi neZANU kuitira kuti muwane something. Muchiziva kuti it's your constitutional right for the government to look after you. So inini nhasi ndiri kuuya ndichikuudzai kuti you know what? Truth be told, we will say the truth. We will not give up on this. We will not step back and we will not step down. Geza revolution is moving on. Everything that Comrade Geza bombshell, everything that he's talking about is the truth. If people can afford to withdraw $1.7 billion just to offer it to someone in the name of a project, a bridge or something that we don't even understand, if they can afford to do that, surely they can put human welfare yedu isusu sevanuka in front ahead of these bridges. Inini, I work in construction, and I can tell you one thing. I have done lots and lots of pricings, Zema projects. Some things is unzwa unoona pa internet chinzi bridge irindere 1 million, bridge irindere 2 million. I ask myself how that bridge gets to be 2 million. Because there is nothing like a basic bridge that even gets to 500,000 US dollars. There's nothing like that. So that's why Tichiti, you know what? We want to come to a point where we start asking this government the right questions. Where is the social benefit for the human beings anogara Zimbabwe? Where is the pension going? Zimbabwe? Where is all this money going? Where are all these resources going towards? We need to ask them the right questions. It's as good as looking at the health sector right now. Mari dzese dzinoallocatwa namtulinguve every beginning of each financial year. What is this money working on? Where is the 15, 20, 25 million allocated in the last 2-3 years? Where is it gone? Ndiana ne contract yekutenga mapiritsi, ndiana ne contract yekutenga mbeda muma hospitals. These are the questions we should be asking as the general public. Tisachkiswa nekuti Nyokayemabhunhu anzi aterwa nema C10 ku South Africa. Anditika, because ndoda kukudzai chinhu one. Akuna hurumende ine right kupinda mu territory yeimwe government and conduct such kind of investigations and conduct those kind of operations, unless if they declare hondo kune vanhu ivavo. Because how can another government go into another jurisdiction and do something like that, right? Takuda kutaura chokwadi chaicho. Zvakafanana nekuti vanhu ivava vatiri kutaura pamusoro pavo vari kubamara. Tikavamirira kuno kwatenge tiri paya paunombokwira ndege paya. Tobva tavadisipisa toti no, until magadzirisa zvinhu hatisi kuvarelease. Aripi hatizivi. You see, that's as good as what they've done. That's how people operate, is it? So inini, I'm saying to you guys, Zimbabwe must wake up. Zimbabwe must start asking the questions. Imimi mayouth munogara muri pamabridge. Munofanira unge muchibhadharwa mari every month inonzi unemployment benefit. Go and ask these guys. Ask them where that money is. Munhu wese imi mese munoswera muchimanya muchiti pamberi nechakati. Munofanira kunge muchibhadharwa mari. You should be getting paid something. Muri kunzwaka. Nyika dzese dzinobhadhara vanhu vavo vanogara imomo ma social benefit. Vanhukadzi kana vakaenda kuma hospitals paya, they are also paid something towards whatever zvinochitika ikoko. Kana vane vana, they get paid something so that they are able to look after these children. Ndosaka ndichitaura kuti guys, politics dzinotaurwa kuvanhu vanenge vakaputirwa. So politics dzotaurwa kuvanhu vakaputirwa vasingazivi zvinhu zvinoenderana nemutemo. Vanofunga kuti politics kufamba muchirova vamwe vanhu musingazivi kuti chamuri kurayira vanhu ivavo chii, chamuri kurayira vanhu ivavo chii. Unourayira munhu zvinhu zvinokubatsirawo kuti urarame zviri nani, iwo moramba muri pasi just because uri kutumwa wapuwa $10. Ndatini endai munobvunza Sean kuti ichokwadi here kuti kune chinhu chinonzi social welfare benefit chachiriko. Go and ask President Mnangagwa. Next time people go to these ZANU-PF conferences, go and ask the right questions. Mari ye-social benefit yatofana kunge tichipiwa isusu vasiri kushanda nevasiri vakura vakwegura. Where is the pension scheme going to? Ndo mari dzatiri kutaura. That's why things are hard in the country. Things are hard because muri kupa weak neo mari dzese under the project dzefake. Under zvinhu zvefake. And this is what we are saying must stop. Simple. Hapana chimwe chatiri kutaura. Alright, ndapedza kupopota. Ndapedza. Okay. I'm done kutaura nichitaura, so let me be nice at this point. Right, gentlemen and ladies. We must understand that as a country, we have responsibilities to look after our children, our grandchildren, and ourselves. Manzwaka. Hakuna munhu anokuchengetera vana vako, hakuna munhu anokuchengetera mhuri yako, iwewe ndiwe unozvichengetera mhuri yako. But under a very conducive environment. Manzwaka. Under a conducive environment. So, what do I mean under a conducive environment? You do this under the right environment. And so that's why ndiri kutaura kuti, guys, when we talk about these kind of things, understand that hapana munhu ari kutaurira zvinhu is to benefit iye kumba kwake. We are talking about these things so that we all change our lives. Kana president aita fail to understand, if the president has failed to understand that in a country where people go to work and get taxed, okay? If the president fails to understand this, if people go to work and they get taxed, and the president aoramba achiti no, vanhu ngavaita sei, ngavaende vanorima, ndo zviri kutaurwa. Vanhu ngavaende vanorima, ngavatore munda, land yacho iri kupuwa vanani, iri kupuwa ma-youth eZANU-PF. You go buy all these to matruck nechichichi monotunganidza totorwa futi wozonzwa pamberi apo. Matruck ayayaka haana kungouya paine kuti it's a presidential scheme. Atori nevaridzi, most likely ndeachivhayo matrucks esaya ari kuita construction aya ndeachivhayo. Saka chiri kungoitika ndechekuti they are there to kuti akunyengedzei kuti ndiri kuita basa, and yet ari kuwana mari yachona ndiani? Munhu one. Adimaona, isusu tiri kuti no, a government scheme should never be patriotized. A government scheme, kana president ari president wenyika for the next 5 years, should never mention stare party yake pamuromo. That is very, very, very unprofessional. A president should actually talk about the development yenyika yake and look after everybody else. Those are ndikuti, guys, Inina, I want you to go and ask the right questions. Why do you pay tax when you are actually employed? Kana uri Zimbabwe unebas. Kana uri civil servant, why do you pay tax? And then why is it after you pay tax you don't get a tax return at the end of each financial period? Why is it you don't get tax rebates? Where does this money go to? Who is taking all this money? But munodza kuti nyika ina mari anditi. Mese mi muri kuZimbabwe mune mota, mese. Munhu wese anobhadhara mari pakutanga kwegore 3 times registration emota. 3 times. There is 6 million cars. 6 million cars muZimbabwe. Dakuradza kuti musarerwa nhema kuti Zimbabwe ina mari. 6 million cars times 3 times a year. Atidi kutaura kuti registration inoita $30 per period. Ngatingoti inoita $1. Okay, kana one 6 million, that's $6 million per first period. 6 million saka pa gore Zimbabwe inowana a minimum of $18 million. just from your cars. Manzwak, what kind of a country makes one individual to pay a license here ZBC mumota mako and they are forced to have it? Mumba wants ZBC mutero. Kubasa konengone chi wants ZBC mutero. We want to be very honest people. This thing must stop. It's not like an idea and they create this to generate money out of the general public. Manzwak, at the expense of the general public. Manzwak. That's why in the cheating we have to tara chokwadu hands in those so that they can steal without being questioned. We need to present these questions to them. Manzwak. We need to present these questions to these MPs. We need to ask them these rightful questions. Ndiani ane contract yekutenga beda mu Zimbabwe muspatara? We don't even know. Ndiani ane contract akawina contract yekutenga machira muma hospital? We don't even know. We don't have an idea who the guy is or what company is. Ndiani akawina contract yekutenga majackson ekubaya vanhu nema periods? We don't even know. Ndiani ane contract yekutenga mapilo nezvimwe zvese zvazva stationary even nema hospital? We don't even know. We don't even have an idea. But you know what? Every financial period Mtuli comes out and explains to you 15 million, 20 million ku health, 100 chakat kwakat, kuma soja maria kat. Takuda kutaura chokwadi kuma soja chaiko. Nyika dzakawanda dzave far ahead in advancing technology. Zimbabwe inongo survivor because of international law that says you cannot invade another country. That's why Zimbabwe is still there. Unofunga kuti iwewe kana South Africa kada kuinvade Zimbabwe, invade Zimbabwe in a week. In a week. Because you make your servicemen go around in a butsu dzakapera. Buy those soldiers the proper soldiering uniform. Buy those soldiers proper gear. Tengerai mapurisa the proper gear. Mario yane contract yekuita izvozvo ndiani? That's the question I have. Akawina contract yekutengera masoja uniform, contract yekutengera mapurisa uniform ne boots ne chin ndiani? Mari yacho akaisa kupi? Now when we start talking about these things, now these things become very sensitive to only a few individuals. Just a few individuals. Everybody else, they understand what we are saying. Why is it masoja enyano machisiwa mvura kuchinaya, nebutsu dzavo dziya machi, and the president is busy sitting inside the shed, enjoying himself with his wife, drinking maybe whiskey, a glass of whiskey in front of everyone? Why is it that it's easy for a man of his age to watch such a very, very, very bad presentation like that? Because they don't have a heart. That whole independence thing, as soon as I see the conditions are not proper for my men, cancel. I used to wonder, cancel, everybody goes home. And then when people go back, they've got chaos because it's raining. Because you don't even know, you don't have a med service anymore. You can't even detect that there's going to be rain. You see, but I'm saying this, guys. Main message, the struggle continues. Comrade Geza said, there is a lot of things happening behind the scenes. Do not be distracted. Ne issue ya Comrade Nyokayemabhunhu. Do not be distracted ne issue ya Comrade Nyokayemabhunhu, because there is nothing that's going to happen to him. He is not going to Zimbabwe. He is not like other people that are happy right now. Hey, it's going to be extradited. You see, chirungu chinodiwa nemunhu wese nevamwe vasingagoni kuchitaura so. Hey, anzari kudzosa. There is international law. There is international law, and I can say this 10 times. There is something that is not available in Zimbabwe that's called international law. The same procedure that South Africa brought Israel into ICC is the same procedure that if South Africa sends that man to Zimbabwe, we will file that against South Africa. ICC. You must understand this. If you do understand this one now, you will know that every leader no panza for Zimbabwe tinom capture tikamuindisa kwa ICC huko. That's what you don't understand. Tati susu kune chuni chinonzi ICC. Okay? Nyokayemabhunhu has kwenda ku Zimbabwe because of his rights under international law. Manzwa, muaudze vaya vari kufara vaya. So zvese zvekufarira zvinhu zvisina nebasa rese izvi zvekuti vanhu vari kukudzai chokwadi moda kuti hanzi vanhu ngavanyarare mufare. Munhu wese ane expiry date. Isusu vamwe handimbotya inini. We all have expiry dates. When your expiry date stands up, that's it. You don't escape from it. But there's something else. There's something else that people forget. People forget that whenever things change, do not be found on the wrong side of history. Check it. That's all I can say. Isusu, we want people that love people, people that act on behalf of people, and people that are honest. That's all we are asking for. We would like honest people to be running our government. Akuna, I will repeat this, I've said this before. Akuna nyika pano pasi sina corruption. Manzwaka. Akuna nyika under the sun isina corruption. Why am I saying this? Ndukuti muzive kuti akuna nyika isina corruption. Wherever you go, you find something to do with corruption. The only difference between any other country and Zimbabwe, Zimbabwe has got very corrupt leaders that forget that if they get a chance to do a job, they must deliver on what they're expected to deliver. That's where the biggest problem is. Vanotora mari vachiti vanotenga mapirits, vobva vaenda vonotenga boots, vonotenga Nike, vonotenga Adidas, vonotenga Jordan. Anyway, guys, very sorry. It's my problem again. It is a problem. So, why am I saying what I'm saying? We have got a leadership, guys. You know it. We've got a leadership that is crazy. You know, kana vanhu vakawana macontractor vanoenda vonotenga boots, vakawana chichi vanoenda vonotenga matennis. How do you expect your country to develop? Zviri nani munhu ube asi wewe waita say calculate out of your profit. If you are building a hospital, calculate from your profit and then go buy your Nike shoes, go buy your Adidas shoes. I am concerned with a lot of people that cause these kind of things at the expense of the ordinary man. Okay, I am concerned about a lot of people that cause these kind of things at the expense of the general ordinary guy that actually sits on the bridge and is struggling to, to make life work just because there's someone else, right? Just because there's someone else who has got access to withdrawing billions and billions of dollars, millions of dollars. That's why, guys, look, we must come to a point where we start asking our government the right questions. Don't put Comrade Nyokayemabhunhu here or Comrade Bombshell there, okay? Us as ordinary citizens, let's ask the government the right questions. Do you even know phone number ya member of parliament wako? Hauziwi. Do you even know why they are there? Hauziwi. Tinongogara mu community tichiwaona vachifamba nemota dzakanzi ZANU PF dzakanzi chichi. That is just to intimidate everyone. because they don't like working. Inini varumeka. I'm sick and tired of seeing things that I know that things shouldn't be like this, things should be like this. That's why I'm talking the way I'm talking like this. I live in a world where I have got freedom to do what I want, what I like, as long as what I'm doing is not criminal. Okay? I live that freedom. I live the freedom of waking up in the morning. If I want to go and buy this, I can afford to do it. If I want to go and do this, I can afford to do it. But then there's something at the back of my head every time. I ask myself, but you know what? I've got Zimbabwe that they don't have this kind of luxury that I get sometimes. Why is this like this? Then it turns out, you know what? The whole situation is because we've got a very greedy government. They should be on an unemployment benefit. Every month, they should be getting paid a minimum at least of $400 US. Munuwese, at least $100 US a week. Munuwese, at least $200 a fortnight. But do we get that in Zimbabwe? No, we don't. Takatoudzwa tikatodzidziswa kuti those things don't exist. Ndati ask this government to go back to a social welfare government that it used to be. These things used to be there. And they are still there in South Africa. Ask vanogara South Africa. Vanokuudzai kuti zvandiri kutaura ndezvechokwadi. MaZimbabweans, ask your government to pay you your money so that you can have a better life. You are not asking for anything more. Munhu wese year in year out. Kana pana anoziva ovamtulinguve vave. Next time when he presents the budget, he must also put some calculations towards, allocate something towards social welfare, so that munhu wese awane mari anowana pagore. Kana vachida ndovacalculatera inini. It's just a minimum of 6 to 7 million people times $100 per week. Mario aisvike 15 billion dzino disappeared. Azvitombosvike kwese ikoko. So isusu tiri kuti isusu tinoda a country that cares for its citizens. That's why ndiri kuti let's support Comrade Bombshell. Let's support this cause ya Comrade Geza. Ngatifambirei nayo nemimi mayouth ezanu imi muri kusupporta Comrade ED, right? President wenya. Vasupportei. Asi vabvunzei mubvunzo kuti chokwadi here kuti tofana kunge tichitambiriswa pamwedzi. That's the question you need to ask them. You want to live a life of suffering when mari dzenyu dziri kutogwa dzichipuwa munhu 1 kana vanhu 5. Right? That's why I need that ayo. Ndikatanga kutaura zvindotanga kupopota. Catch it too, guys. Chiregedzai ndite calm down, okay? I'm going to be calm and I'm going to compose myself somehow. But I'm going to say to you guys two issues. Let's support the cause that Comrade Geza is calling for. Until Muswe Parliament, does this government respect the rule of law or its constitution? Kana vakatadza respect the constitution Muswa 6. I think we need to consider a lot of things to do. Those are tofana kungotaura chete for now. But for Comrade Geza, let's support what he is asking. He is asking us to have a better life. But that better life does not come because my South Africans I am Zimbabwe or my Zambians I am Zimbabwe. It comes because we have to do it for ourselves. Okay? That's what happens. If we act ourselves, things change. If we sit and watch, nothing changes. Manzwak. Comrade Nyokayemabhunhu is fine. He's very well protected right now. So, my lawyers without borders. Okay? Let me tell you one thing. Some lawyers from international community that have learnt about this whole drama that has happened. And those lawyers without borders, they've got the legal boundary to go anywhere and exercise what they call international law. So musarero anema kuti atodzoka dzimwe nyika dzese dze outside Zimbabwe isi Zimbabwe, and they don't operate zvechimvenge so unoza nyika dzese dzino-operate under their constitution, the rule of law and everything. Haikona kuti another man from ZANU-PF can threaten another man kuti I'm going to kill you on live and nothing happens. If I go online right now, I'm going to kill you, then I'm charged with that. So I see mvenge dzimwe nyika dzese dzino-operate in a way that is real. Okay? So don't worry about Comrade Nyokayemabhunhu. He is very fine. He will get assistance from a lot of international renowned lawyers. So isusu tikuda kuti in the future there's other things that we are planning that we want to make sure these things happen for our nation and these people that cause problems. So guys, for today, I'm getting to calm down, and I want to thank you guys for believing in us and everybody else who's calling for this revolution, believing particularly in Comrade Geza. Comrade Geza is the only true person right now in his generation, and everybody else rallying behind him. There's a lot of other war veterans. Okay, let me say this. There is one man at the front who comes out every day to update us. And there's a lot of other war veterans. Manzwak, there's a lot of other war veterans behind Comrade Geza that are supporting this call for whatever is happening. There are also other people in the uniformed profession, Zimbabwe, that are calling for this. There are also other members of parliament. And I can say this boldly. Atoripo umwe munhu anotofamba na president. Manzo. Atoripo umwe munhu anotofamba na president ari kutosupporta zvese zviri kuitika izvi. And he is very willing to fund after the 6th of May. Munhu is ready to fund anything to make sure that the president goes into retirement. Atoripo munhu ari kufamba na president, anofamba na president Sterek, anotaura Sterek about kuti zvakati ndezvezanu wato. Munhu iyeye is the one behind all these activities. Mark these words, muchamuziva zvenyu pamberi apo. Okay? I thank you guys. Thank you for your time. Have a good night, afternoon, whatever time it is. I love you, Zimbabwe. Thank you.